For some necessary reasons, the witch hunter let Emma continue with her rituals for that night. When Ola got to the shrine that day, after completing her ritual, she approached the priest cautiously. "Na Anyi," she said softly. "Is Kachi getting any better?" The old priest's face was unreadable in the dim light. "Ah, he is a fighter. He is improving. The gods are merciful." Ola's heart leaped. Will he recover fully?" The priest placed a hand on her shoulder. "Patience, my child. These things take time, but have faith. The gods have not forgotten him, or you. As long as you remain faithful, he'll be fine." Ola nodded, fighting back tears. She wanted to ask more, but she knew better than to question the priest too much. Her walk back home was slow as a lot weighed her down. She wondered what Nkem was doing at the square to have caught her. At the same time, she was afraid that her mother would definitely hear of it. Her father and brothers too. What will I tell them? She thought. And she wasn't even sure of the priest's ability to keep his promise. She sighed. May the gods see me through this, she prayed. She couldn't sleep all through the night as she couldn't get her mind off her meeting with Nkem the next day. Ola had never been to Nnem's house as their relations ended at the market. She was surprised to notice that Nkem was a witch hunter. At Ifo, witch hunters were identified by their stones. Do not be afraid, Nkem, the witch hunter told Ola. I mean no harm. I only want to help you, she added. Then she continued. I'm sure that you don't know what you got yourself into. But it's not yet late. Tell me, what happened? There is a long history behind Ola's dancing, a history nobody was aware of. Ola's real name was Machi. She is from Ifol village, but the villagers do not know her because the spirit she works for changes her to another person before she comes out to dance, giving her the enchanting appearance. She's not evil, she only fell into the trap months ago when she was just a young girl of 22 who was deeply in love with a young, handsome and industrious farmer in a neighboring village. He was a good man. He was kind and spoiled Marcy with love. To Emma, no one was as good as Kachi. To her, he was the one and last good man on earth. Their love grew with every passing day. They were an inseparable pair. Mema's father would often tease her that Kachi was probably her twin born by another woman. Emma was the envy of the women in both Kachi's and her village. They all felt she was the luckiest and wished that God would throw down numerous Kachis to go round. Kachi was a cheerful, lovable and jolly fellow. People always said he had life on a platter of gold, but things aren't always as they seem. While in the relationship, Kachi would often speak of the scary dreams and occurrences on the night before his birthday every year. While his mother and father were alive, they'd always do something that Kachi was unaware of, which stops the dreams and scary nights. He never bothered to ask them, nor did they say anything about it. Kachi's birthday was always celebrated every year, from his first till when his parents died. People said they always celebrated it because he was their only child, but they knew better. On his 20th birthday, after the celebrations during the day, they all went to bed. But only Kachi saw the sunrise the next day. It was a day he never forgets. Whenever he was having a bad day, he would always talk about it, to the extent that Machi knew the story like she was present when it all happened. Nobody could say what happened to Kachi's parents. At their burial, people kept sighing, the gods have taken, but later occurrences months after proved there was more. Kachi approached his 30th birthday with fear and dread. Unlike previous years, he was in no mood to celebrate his birthday this coming year. He was already tired of it all. Too many questions with no answers bugged his mind. His only restraint was his father's stern warning over the years. From when Kachi could understand words, his father would tell him after every birthday celebration, This is a tradition I want you to continue even when you become a man and no more under our roof. Can't you see how happy they are, he'd say. Is it our responsibility to make them happy? Young Kachi would ask. It's not, my son. Their happiness is your blessing. You're not making them happy. You're only ensuring that you're never out of blessings. That answer did not fully answer Kachi's question, which weakened his conviction about it over the years. He decided to tell Mamachi about it on one of their meetings. There will be no birthday celebration this year, he blurted out. Surprised, Machi rose from his chest where she rested her head. Is everything okay? She asked. Your birthday celebration is like your family's revered tradition. Why would you want to break it? Emma asked. A baseless tradition? Kachi added, haven't you noticed that 1 to 5 of the people that attends my birthday celebration either falls sick, dies, or enters into some kind of trouble? I'm only lucky that these villagers do not suspect anything, but I know the truth, and it steals my peace. Emma added in deep thought. Kachi continued, you remember Okonkwo's second daughter that came to my last birthday party? I heard she has been taken to the widow's place. The widow's place? Machi asked. Has it gotten that bad? The widow is said to be the only one that restores any form of mental illness. They took her there before it gets any worse. I am overcome by guilt whenever I remember her and many others. It kills me, Mama. Kachi added, that's why I'm not celebrating it this year. I don't need any blessing that comes at the misfortune of others. For now, try catching me if you can, he said as he ran off in a hide-and-seek game they usually play whenever either of them feels sad. On a fateful evening, few days to Kachi's birthday, Machi happily sang while walking along the path to his farm where they planned to meet and go home afterwards. Ha! Machi screamed, trying to cover her mouth to prevent unwanted attention. Then she went closer to be certain of the sight. There lay Kachi in dirt, shaking profusely and vomiting blood. She tried calming him down. Obimbiko u, don't do this. The gods will not let evil befall you. Obimbiko, I'm here. While she held him, bathing him with her tears, an old man seemed to pass by. She quickly ran to him and held him on his arm. Na Anyibiko, help me. In pity, he followed her to where Kachi was. Machi's crying increased. With her hands on her head, she screamed, I'm doomed. The old man then tapped Kachi 3 times on his forehead. After the third, Kachi became still. The blood stopped flowing. But he lay weak and almost lifeless. He couldn't look up to Mamachi, nor could he reply to her calls. For days, he could not talk or give any expression. He just looked into space all the time. In return for Kachi's health, Machi had an agreement with the evil priest. The spirits are withholding your husband's soul. They have refused to release it, the evil priest said. What about the goats, snakes, and other things you asked me to get for the numerous sacrifices? Machi asked. The spirits rejected them all, the evil priest said. What do they want then? Emma asked desperately. You are the object of their sacrifice, the evil priest said. Puzzled, Emma asked. I don't understand, Enna Anyai. The spirits wants you to serve them for a number of months in exchange for the return of your lover's soul. I will do anything to bring back my Kachi, she said with bulging, desperate eyes. The evil priest looked and smiled wryly. She's just the right one, he thought. This was where Machi's journey began. That's how I started dancing as service to the spirits, Emma said to Nkem. Nkem, the witch hunter, sighed. Okoko is a greedy spirit, Nkem added. Okoko holds no good. Now it's all clear, she said. What's clear? Mamachi asked. Kachi's parents gave Okoko room to oppress them by seeking his help for the healing of Kachi when he was 6 months old and severely sick. In return for Kachi's health, Kachi's parents was to give them 2 souls every year by hosting birthday celebrations. Out of those in attendance, he randomly chooses 2 people for the yearly sacrifice. These persons either fall sick, get into trouble, or go mad, depending on the affliction Okoko chooses. Huh? Machi covered her mouth in shock. My daughter, Nehemika continued, the priest is just using you. Kachi will never be well in his care. Continue in his service, and he will afflict you with whatever evil he chooses when he no longer needs your services. At this point, Emma was anxious and scared. Ha! I'm finished, she screamed, falling to the floor. Sit up, my daughter. It's not the end, Nehemika said. I will help you. Only do as I say. She then took Emma to the village square that night and performed some rituals and asked Emma not to dance anymore. The agreement is broken, the witch hunter said as they walked back home. What about Kachi? Emma asked. He should be home tomorrow, the witch hunter replied. The next morning, she was awoken by the screams of her family members. She rushed out to see her beloved Kachi. Kachi! She screamed as she ran and jumped on him and screamed loudly, her tears wetting his clothes. Kachi cried too. Then they looked at each other, cried, and hugged again. There's a lot you need to know, Machi said to Kachi. I know, my love, but there's plenty of time to hear it. I'm just so happy to be with you again, Kachi said. Few weeks later, the whole of Ifo gathered for Machi and Kachi's wedding. Everyone was happy. They only discussed about the sudden disappearance of their mysterious dancer. Little did they know that her absence was their deliverance.